I sat down in front of my laptop on Tuesday night, the day before the speech was due, I asked myself what I wanted to write about. I could talk about how everyone in this room has helped me learn. Or I could spend this speech thanking the many people who deserve our gratitude. But instead, when I sat down to write this speech, all I could think of was my great-grandmother. At 96 years old, she has nearly a century of accumulated wisdom and knowledge. She's still alive despite the fact that she rarely takes the medicines her doctor prescribes, she eats whatever she wants, and she takes orders from no one but herself. But last weekend, she left me surprised. At my family's graduation party, she handed my mother a gift. It was a thin, unmarked, and unaddressed envelope, and as she handed it to my mom, she said, "I don't know how to write, but this is for Arman." In that moment, my heart sank. One of the wisest women I know wasn't able to do one of the skills I so often take for granted. I was shocked, but I shouldn't have been. She grew up in an era when women weren't granted an education, when women weren't offered the chance to be the CEOs, lawyers, and surgeons that so many are today. And while we are incredibly lucky to attend a school and live in a country where we can be all of those things regardless of our gender, there are millions of people throughout the world without access to the same opportunities. But that education that we are so fortunate to have been provided means nothing unless we put it toward the advancement of those core values that we Huskies are so quick to recite. As we leave the community within these walls, we are faced with an increasingly polarized world. We are a species in which our genomic variation is no more than 0.1%. Yet it often seems that we have lost the 99.9% of our humanity that is shared. But for all the resources we Americans have access to, 19% of today's high school graduates, just like my great-grandmother, still can't read. And despite the universality of the problems we face, it seems that whenever we turn on the TV, we see division. We see senseless debates over what bathrooms our peers can use, whom our neighbors can love, and who deserves the right to live free from war and conflict. We see hatred, intolerance, and discrimination. But for all the bigotry we assail, we find it difficult to shake the prejudice that we hold in our own hearts against those who disagree with us. We criticize the building of walls, but sometimes we build them ourselves. So it's up to us, the leaders of tomorrow, to tear down those barriers, because it has always been bridges of opportunity, not walls of division, that have made America great. As we leave the sheltered community within these walls, we have a chance to use our privilege for the furtherance of human knowledge, and the chance to use our literacy to change the lives of those around us for the better. And that may sound idealistic, and it probably is, but if I have noticed one thing over my past 14 years here at Flint Hill, it is that trying is far more important than knowing you'll succeed. So I ask that in the lives we are soon to live, we make the right choice. We decide to work toward making the world a better place. We decide to treat others with respect and dignity. We reject blind ideological and political division, and we find common ground wherever it may lie. We must never stop recognizing our mistakes, and we must never stop working to become better people. It's in that spirit that I hope you will join me in striving to live a life of purpose, to be of use in the 78.74 statistical years that we have to live, 22% of which have already gone by. In that life, we can choose to ostracize those who are different, or accept that which we have in common. We can choose to hate those who hate us, or fight that hatred with love. We can choose to go through the motions of our existence, or we can choose to live a life of meaning. To the class of 2016, it has been an honor to walk by your side. Thank you, and of course, congratulations.